Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the astrology and numerology. And in this case, it's a very big event, a long event, Mars retrograde starting on December 6th and ending on February 23rd in 2025. So it's about 2.5 months, usually 80 days, that Mars retrogrades every 2 years or so. And in this case, the retrograde begins in Leo and then moves into Cancer in January. And so Mars will be in Cancer for much longer than usual. Usually Mars is in a sign for about 6 weeks, but with this retrograde, Mars entered Cancer in September, early September, and then left Cancer in November, but then returns in January and will stay there until the end of April. So we're going to look at that, but first let's start with the degree number because it's so important. Our station's retrograde at 6 degrees in Leo, so we have a double 6 code, and that speaks to how we feel. It speaks to love and generosity and nurturing and family. And so there are qualities to this Mars retrograde that may not be very Mars-like. The kindness, the taking care of others, sharing our heart. The thing is, it starts in Leo, and Leo actually rules the heart physiologically in astrology. Leo is very passionate, very open-hearted, and so there is this real sense of being able to be very genuinely connected to others. So when any planet goes retrograde, we turn within for our resources. And in Mars' case, it's our energy resources. And how we get our energy, where it comes from, is really going to be addressed, especially regarding feelings. Feelings of fear, feelings of anger, which are the shadow side of Mars. So you may be revisiting any emotions that are still unprocessed that have to do with feeling upset, angry, frustrated, fearful. You want to guard against harsh language during this time, and you want to also sleep on it before sending something that may be very reactive in nature. So any hurt that you have felt in the last couple of years since Mars was last retrograde, you want to trust now that you can open yourself up to new love. And that's what the double 6 code is about. 6 is the number of love. It literally looks like a woman who is pregnant. And the symbol of that is that you nurture a new life into being through love. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio and the ruler of Aries. And Scorpio uncovers the truth, and Aries gives you the confidence to move forward. And the Mars retrograde this time around is especially potent and deep because it comes during a Mars-Pluto opposition. And as it happens, Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So you can imagine there's going to be a lot that comes to the surface that was maybe not formally really seen or consciously made aware of, and now coming collectively and personally into our awareness so that we can be accepting of it without judgment. Now, because Mars is retrograding, there's going to be 3 oppositions to Pluto. The first one happened in November before Pluto entered Aquarius, and so the planets at that point were in Capricorn and Cancer. Now we come to January 1st, and Pluto has since moved into Aquarius, of course, and Mars will still be in Leo. And on January 1st at 1 degrees, they will oppose each other again. And then on January 6th, there's the number 6 again, Mars moves into Cancer, which is the sign of nurturing. So this is a really big theme, as I was saying earlier, to look at feelings, to feel those feelings and reflect on whatever may have spurred you to act in a certain way previously, not judge it, but allow it to be processed and released. So while Mars is retrograding in Leo, we get in touch with our heart, our inner confidence. We get fired up internally in that realm over the holidays as well. And then when Mars retrogrades into Cancer on January 6th, we're going to have several months where we really are looking at whatever we feel, not to judge it, allowing it to unfold. So let's say you ask for something of a high vibrational nature, but you haven't released your judgment about it. Let's say it's financial, and you're asking for a greater sense of abundance because of a fear of a lack of financial flow. So the judgment is that I don't have this, or I don't like this. And you're letting go of that. And instead you're saying, well, you know what? It was perfectly valid to feel what I've explored previously. And now up until now, that's what my experience was. And so you acknowledge that, but you don't give your energy to the I don't like approach anymore. And instead of saying, I don't like this or I don't like that person, you say, well, that's okay, but now I prefer to put my energy over here instead of over here. And it seems like that's really subtle, but those two statements are very different. One is an actual judgment, and it will bring a reflection by the universe back to you about what it is you are judging. And so the outcome will be vastly different than the statement of acceptance. I've been through that. I understand that. It was valid while I was experiencing it, and now I'm choosing something else. And so instead of being in a loop of judging, you are coming back into acceptance of every experience you've had, and that brings you back into wholeness. And this is what the number 6 is all about. So the fact that Mars is retrograding at 6 degrees Leo on December 6th and then moves into Cancer on January 6th, this is really big. It means that there is a sense of love that brings oneness instead of a sense of separation and judgment that keeps us in the loop. So you don't want to separate yourself by saying things you'd rather not have, because then you're focusing on that, right? You want to move your energy into a new frequency and keep focusing on that new frequency, which then resonates within your heart. And that new resonance brings a restructuring of how you think about life. And that restructuring literally is physiological, just like the heart is the physiological connection to Leo. So if you have feelings that feel uncomfortable, allow them to be felt, observe them, become aware of them without judgment, and ask Spirit, ask Creator for a greater awareness about those feelings and see them as valid, and then choose a higher frequency and focus on that. Now, another thing about Mars retrogrades is we need more rest. Mars is our energy source, and it symbolizes physical energy. So allow yourself to have plenty of rest time between December 6th and February 23rd. And pay attention to the messages from your body when it is asking for that. I need to take a nap time, or I need to sleep in, or maybe I shouldn't run errands right now. Maybe I can do it tomorrow when I have a little extra space, etc. Now, Mars will re-enter Leo on April 17th, 2025, and it's just in time for its third opposition, opposite Pluto, on April 26th. So whatever issues you were experiencing initially in late October, November-ish, you may look at again in January when Mars enters Cancer and opposes Pluto then, and then the same feelings will come to a conclusion, a transformation in the end of April. So there's really an opportunity here for a rebirth, and that theme is such a big theme for 2025 to begin with. Why? Because first of all, Pluto will be in Aquarius all year. There will no more be back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius. It is completely in the rebirth segment now, the Aquarian age, and the rest of the 4 outer planets, the slow-moving planets, are all moving to 0 degrees, bringing new beginnings, which is unprecedented. And that's happening during a 9 universal year in numerology, which is endings. So we have a theme of both culminations and endings and new beginnings and fresh starts, forward momentum coming together, which always indicates a shift. So we are experiencing being on pins and needles in a sense, but that's why being in the moment and not judging is so key. And as it happens, I have my 11th annual Ultimate Yearly Forecast coming up on Friday the 13th. I'm so excited about it because it will reveal all the secrets of this middle year of our decade, 2025. I hope you can join me. If you go to 2025forecast.com, you can watch a short video about this live stream event, which will be available as instant access right after the live stream. And you can ask me questions live as well after the presentation. So it'll be around 4 hours or so. Sometimes we go longer, and you get bonuses as well. It's really an exciting event that prepares you for the next year, which is, as I said, so pivotal. So go to 2025forecast.com, enjoy that video, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday the 13th or on the replay. And I wish you a beautiful Mars retrograde and lots of love. See you next week.